and welcome to Low Rent Rick Scale Modelling, and this is my build of the Airfix Vintage Classics World War I Mail Tank Mark 1. Now before we get going, please consider subscribing. It's completely free, really helps me out, helps the channel grow, makes me really happy. Hit that subscribe button, thank you. Okay, so I've never built a vintage classic kit before, so I don't know what to expect. It was extremely cheap. I think I got it for £3.95. Decals aren't going to be a problem looking at this. I think there's one, which is great. Armour's pretty low on decals anyway, so I don't mind that at all. Another bonus to the kit is it actually came with a flying hour. So any of you that are members or you collect the flying hours from Airfix kits, I don't think you'll get one for cheaper than £3.95. Now looking at the sprues, okay, there's a little bit of flash and a few seams that need sanding off, but nothing anyone can complain about for £3.95. I'm guessing it's an extremely old kit. The clue's in the name, Vintage Classics, and so far I'm actually a fan. The build itself has only got sort of 12 steps, so I'm going to rattle through the build quite quickly and spend a little bit of time on the camo and do a nice paint job. Now this is also the first time I'm using Tamiya Extra Thin as a adhesive. I'm usually a Revelco Tacta guy. One of the things I didn't realise is just how far the Tamiya Extra Thin actually goes. So the mistake I made here was not realising that it finds every line and every nook and cranny, and I actually glued the turret swivels while putting this together, so a bit of a learning curve for me there. I think as a complete modeler you've got to try all the different types of adhesive out there. I'm really a fan of this stuff. It required almost no pressure and just a little dab will do you, and a really firm fix once it's set. So it is a fantastic glue. You just got to watch the travel of it and watch how far it gets into those nooks and crannies. Now this was an extremely simple build. It would be ideal for anybody starting out, anybody that's just looking at trying a bit of modelling or trying a bit of armour. There's not much to invest. Obviously it's a very basic kit, but it doesn't mean you can't enjoy it, and I really did enjoy it. Maybe a couple of hours of an afternoon when I've not got a 148 or a 124 on the go. This was extremely fun to do. I've absolutely rattled through the build. That's why I've sped the video up so much, because there's nothing real to learn here. It just goes together so beautifully. If anything, I could say this part here, the trailer, it does require a little bit of jiggery pokery to get it glued up right. So when you attach it to the actual body of the tank itself, I would suggest using some cyanoacrylate, some super glue, just to make that connection a little bit better, because there's not much of a surface there for it to actually grip onto. So I just had a little bit of a play around, and eventually I decided on dabbing some super glue on there. It gives a nice stiff bond almost instantly, and it still allows that trailer to be mobile from the two pins inside. So that was quite good. Now the rubber tracks are a bit of a mess. They just need a bit of a trim up, as you would expect. So I just give all the excess a little bit of a trim off, and then any little burrs or anything like that, I would get the lighter out and just hold them close to the flame. They don't need to go in the flame because they will just melt immediately, but the little webs will just melt off straight away. Now as for connecting the tracks together, tried a bit of the extra thin. No, it's no good for doing the rubber, so it doesn't work so well, so I just give it a dab of the super glue. So on with the painting, brand new airbrush sent in by a sponsor. This is an Omeo. It's a dual action with 3 power settings on the built-in compressor. It comes with 3 needles. Absolutely great little airbrush. I'm going to do a review on that, and I'll link in the description when that's done. But as we go for the colours on this thing, I've gone for a really light green background, which will really pop out the camo when I go over the top. It's a pleasure to build and a pleasure to paint. It's going on lovely. No need for priming. As any of you that watch this channel quite often is, I don't tend to prime a lot. I'm not against it. I just don't tend to use it, especially not on these small and tiny models like this. So I'm just going to freehand in the brown parts of the camo. Just be a bit relaxed about it and build it up over time. Get the basic pattern down and then build it in by eye, just nice and random. Trying to get it quite close to the box art, the painting guide on the back. So I'm going to use a bit of grass green, then I'm going to have some black just to accent the camo. So the tracks I'm going to give sort of an undercoat of black, sprayed on as sort of like a base coat. They're eventually going to be washed in a rust colour, but it's nice to have just a spray of the black just to give the paint something to key to on the rubber. So just going over the camo now, just give it some black accents all over, just a little tiny bit. It's the colours that I'm going to use the least is the black, just to get it nice and make it look a little bit like the back of the box if I can. Once the super glue's welded those tracks, they're very manageable. They're just like an elastic band, so they should go on with no problem at all. And they look like they fit really well. For the rust on the tracks, I'm going to use 2 of my little pots left over from the hulls of Titanics. So the lighter colour I'm going to lay down first. It's already been watered down sort of quite a lot, so it's probably 60% water. Just go over all the track with that colour, and when that's dried off, the darker, more rich rust colour is just going to go around the edges just to give it that rusty look. And the exhaust pipe on the top, now I assume it's an exhaust pipe, it's shown on the box art as being a rust colour, so I've done that as well. And I almost forgot before I took my pictures is to put the one and only decal on. So HMLS Dragonfly. And there she is complete. What an enjoyable couple of hours for under £4. Absolute bargain. If you've never built one, please do give them a go. It's really worth a shot. Thanks for joining me for another video. If you've stayed till the end, thank you so much for watching it all the way through. Please consider subscribing to my channel, leave any likes or comments, and check the descriptions for all the links. Please check out my Facebook group, Scale Modelling for Everyone. I'd love to have you there. Thank you for joining me. See you in the next video. Bye bye for now.